My girlfriend's excited because she gets to be my first lady. I was pretty shocked and surprised when Consuelo called me. It's only the second time I've been on a jury. And yeah, the president thing, that's pretty cool. It's quite an honor. I love this festival, so. I'm just going to listen to my gut as a film fan, and you know, I'll say my piece about what I think moves me emotionally, or just plain entertains me. Whatever gives me the best feeling, I'll put in a good word for it. And sometimes magically everybody will agree, and sometimes we'll all disagree, and then But talking about film is one of my favorite things to do. So I love watching films. I don't think it's about judging people so much as it is just celebrating what we think are good films. The same thing I look for in any movie that I watch is just something that's unique, and that's unique to something that feels human, and something that makes me feel something, whether it be sad or mad or happy, or it doesn't matter. Movies, the thing that's great about movies, they can make you feel all the myriad of emotions. Yeah, I'm just looking for the one that makes me feel the most. I read critics all the time. I don't know about trusting them. It's just everybody has their opinion on films. A lot of critics get a little mean, I think, and they can kind of just unnecessarily badmouth somebody. It's like, if you don't like the film, that's fine, but you don't have to be cruel about it. And some of my favorite reviews of any of my films personally have been really bad reviews. They're very amusing.
Did you keep them in a scrapbook?
And this is a film that I co-wrote and co-directed with my friend Chris. And one thing that we're both adamant about is to not judge the character as filmmakers. We can have characters do bad things or things that we may personally take offense to, but like I said, we try not to pass judgment on the character when they're in the scene. Each character doesn't believe that they're evil or bad, so we just try to get to the root of what their human qualities are. Are there any good guys really in real life? I don't know. I mean, everybody's got both, it's a balance of good and evil in every person, I think. Some people just have a little bit more than the other, but again, all that's subjective. So I think there's lots of good guys in the movie. It's just, I have my own personal taste, my own personal opinion of who.
What's your favorite character in the movie?
I don't think I'd say that because my actors would kill me. But I love them all for different reasons. That was part of the reason that we had 10 main characters in the film, is that we thought for teenagers especially, this is a film that we designed for teenagers and tried to give it the emotional quality of what it's like to be a teenager, where you're feeling 100 different emotions in one day, and a week can feel like a year, emotionally. It's a very specific sort of social structure, which is very representative of the country itself. There's good and bad things about that. There's a competitive aspect that goes on that has a lot of positive aspects to it, but also a lot of negative aspects. And obviously, I make a lot of movies about outcasts, which I think I more put on myself when I was in that situation. When I was in high school, I felt like I was different than everybody, but I was friends with it. But I think back on it, I really was friends with everybody. Oh, I absolutely have faith in the youth. I think I'm just finally getting to an age to where I'm becoming the grumpy old man, maybe. A little bit. So there's a lot of things that kids are doing that I just don't understand, but I also remember being their age and remember not feeling like I was understood. So it's just an interesting subject to explore. Because the first time we made this film, we were closer to the age of the characters in the film, and now my co-director has his own children, and we're 20 years older than the characters we're portraying, so it's just a different perspective. So. In this film, quite honestly, I mean, my relationship is I think music is crucial to film. You know, I think it's one of the most cinematic things you can do is put music to moving pictures. But on this film, really, Chris is my co-director. Has an incredibly encyclopedic knowledge of music and what's current, and he's just an avid listener of music. I am as well, but not as all-encompassing as he is. So, you know, in this case, you know, co-directing, we decided, you know, okay, let's co-direct and we consult on everything. And, you know, if one of us doesn't like this thing, then it won't be in the film. But if one person has a strength, you know, Chris having that immense knowledge of music, it was like, okay, well, Chris is sort of leading the way on the music, and he would bring songs. And there's a lot of songs he brought that I didn't like and we didn't use in the film. But whenever, you know, he also brought a lot of songs. It's like, wow, that's amazing. That fits here, you know. The same compromise a filmmaker always makes, which is there's never enough money. There's never enough resources, you know. And we really, you know, pushed ourselves. In Oklahoma, we have a saying of trying to put 3 pounds of shit in a 2-pound bag. And this movie was very much like that. We just tried to just push it as far as possible and max out our resources and make the movie look bigger than, you know, than the resources we actually had. Yeah, it's like the Peanuts.
Yeah. You wanted to let the kids by themselves, or you?
Well, that's partially why the film takes place in such a short amount of time too. Is we didn't want to deal with cops, we didn't want to deal with parents. We just wanted to be on the ground with the kids and just be going through what they're going through emotionally, and not have this, you know, these adult figures having any real impact on the story. We wanted it to be something that was very much within the world of a teenager. So. Chris and I both had spent, you know, we made the original film, we finished it back in 1999, and then we went off on our own solo careers and made these very dark, heavy, serious sort of films. And me, especially after making The Woman, which was the darkest film I'd ever made, and Chris made this really intense movie about underground fighting called Brawler, that's about this war between these two brothers. We both just got to a place where it's like, let's go back to where we started, like, let's just do something fun, and that's just like adrenaline filled and just, you know, a popcorn movie, and, you know, we kind of tried to tap back into what made us want to make movies in the first place, and we decided to do that together. And when we made All Cheerleaders Die, it was our first feature that either of us had made, so which was great to be co-directing and co-writing in that situation, because you're learning from each other's mistakes and you're learning from each other's discoveries, so you're learning twice as much. Oh yeah, I mean, that's always what it's been about, is just getting together with a bunch of cool artists and cool people. And in that case, it was just a friend that I had made that summer who had an old video camera and knew how to do makeup with latex, and, you know, it was just exciting and fun, which is, you know, hopefully why we're still doing it. I would love to. So far, it's a one-time experience. I also made a short film for Xbox when they were making original content a couple years ago. James Gunn invited me to make a short, a little webisode. It was like a 7-minute short called Blue Like You. It was really, really fun. And yeah, I mean, I would absolutely, there's tons of shows that I really love that I would love to come, you know, if I could ever get a chance to guest direct, or it'd be really fun to create a show.
If you just have to pick one.
Right now, currently, there's a new show that just came out in the States a little while ago called Orange is the New Black. That's from the guy who created that show Weeds. That just, if you know my films and you see that show, it's like, wow, it would be a perfect fit, because it's female driven and it's got a certain dark sense of humor. I enjoyed what I learned from it, especially, you know, being directed by one of my very favorite actresses that I've ever worked with. I learned a lot about her process, and I learned a lot about what I'm asking an actor to do. You know, it's just that thing of just, you know, walking in another person's shoes for a little while. So. I was growing up. Yeah, as a child. I didn't have access to movies, you know, so comic books were my form of visual storytelling living out in the sticks.
That was still cheap then. Yeah.
I think comics were 60 cents when I first started collecting them when I was a little kid.
Okay.
Yeah, I just bought one at a comic store the other day that was $4. I was kind of surprised.
4 or 5, yes.
Yeah, do that. I mean, I think All Cheerleaders Die shows a lot of influence from my comic book days, and you know, like the films I grew up on in the in the early '80s and late '80s. Yeah, I mean, I just, you know, I'll take those influences into my own personal stories, and I would love, you know, my girlfriend's a visual artist. And we've been knocking around some ideas for some comic books and stuff, which is just be a fun form to play in, you know, another form of visual storytelling. So, God, if a movie was so bad that it influenced me, then it couldn't be that bad. Well, ones that people tell me I should be ashamed to love.
Yeah.
You know, I love what I love. What can I do? You know, I mean, I liked Sucker Punch. Everybody thought the movie was terrible. I thought it was fucking great. I loved it.
I think it too. I don't know why.
It's so fun, and it has a lot more going on in it than people give it credit for. But that's a recent one that, you know, obviously a lot of people disagreed with me. Besides All Cheerleaders Die?
Yeah.
I'm working on it right now.
Okay.
Just stories that take place in the type of environments that I grew up in, small town. Small town stories with bite that show small town people for all, you know, all their beauty and all their flaws and all of that stuff, as opposed to just making them caricatures, which happens a lot, especially with the way people from the South and the Midwest are depicted in film. They're kind of turned into cartoon characters like hillbillies or white trash. And I've seen a lot more genuine and beautiful, touching behavior from people in those sort of situations than I have in Hollywood. Cooking. Yeah, I love cooking. I don't know how good I am at it, but I love it's like film. It's something that it brings you comfort and it brings you peace. I don't know. Cooking is something that just gives me a lot of comfort.
And it's not as long as doing a movie.
Yeah. You get that sense of completion really quick. So yeah. I'd probably run a restaurant.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's a good answer.
One goes right into the other, yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, thanks.
Thank you.
Yeah, nice to talk to you.